because when it matters most, we are already there. Blaze 7 News up next.
Today is Monday, June 1, 2026. Welcome to News Point. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our own world. I am Oliver McIntosh presenting on today's presentation of the program. In the headlines, political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Tawan Gonglo, calls for national review of Liberia's controversial 2% electoral threshold, says the provision threatens democratic inclusion and constitutional freedoms. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Samuel Stikwa emphasizes the need for Liberia to balance its long-standing tradition of welcoming migrants as concern mounts over the influx of Burkinabes into the country. Alternative National Congress political leader Edizana Kumis highlights increased job creation and youth empowerment as key priorities he who pursued if elected president of Liberia. And away from home, Japan's defense minister Shajura Kozumi rejects China's accusation that Japan is engaging in new military scene, criticizes Beijing over military expansion and lack of transparency. This is the news bulletin's post or package on today's presentation of the program. But first, Stephen Talu and the news bulletin. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Oliver, and good morning, listeners. Political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Tiama Gonglo, is calling for a national review of Liberia's controversial 2% electoral threshold, arguing that the provision threatens democratic inclusion and constitutional reforms. In a commentary titled The 2% Rule and the Future of Democracy in Liberia, Gonglo criticized Section 5.81 of Liberia's electoral as elections law, which allows political parties to be barred from future elections if they fail to secure at least 2% of votes in a presidential election or win at least one legislative seat. According to Gonglu, democracy should allow citizens and not government institutions to decide which political parties survive or disappeared. He argued that the law raises constitutional concerns, citing provisions related to freedom of association, equal protection, and the right of citizens to participate in government. The former Liberian National Bar Association president said political support changes over time and pointed to Liberia's political history where once dominant parties later declined while smaller movements gain influence. Gonglo also referenced examples from established democracy, including the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and India, where political parties that once struggled eventually rose to national prominence. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Samuel Stikwa has emphasized the need for Liberia to balance its longer-standing tradition of welcoming migrants with growing concerns over national security and governance. He made the statement over the weekend during the turning over of two vehicles, four motorcycles, and computer equipment to the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. The minister noted that Liberia has historically remained a safe haven for displaced persons and migrants, but stressed that empowering challenges now require stronger coordination oversight to protect national interests. He said government is increasingly concerned about development linked to huge influx of Burkinabe in the country, thus negatively affecting communities and natural resources in some parts of Liberia. While acknowledging Liberia's humanitarian legacy, he said the state must ensure that migration processes do not undermine insecurity or disrupt government operation. Also speaking there, the executive director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, Councillor Cole Bangalore, expressed gratitude to President Joseph Boakai for what he described as timely and meaningful support to the commission. The political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Elizana Cummings, has called for increased job creation, youth empowerment, and improved basic services as key priorities to the will pursue if elected president of Liberia. Speaking over the weekend to residents of 4.4 and the supermarket district number 16, Mosovado County, Commissioner said he understands the challenges facing communities across the country, particularly unemployment, drug abuse among young people, and limited economic opportunities. He stressed that job creation remains one of Liberia's most pressing issues, noting that all Liberians need access to sustainable employment opportunities, especially young people. The ANC political leader also highlighted the growing drug problem among young, saying it is a national concern that must be urgently addressed through the stronger intervention and prevention programs. Cummings said his desire to seek the presidency is driven by the need to address these long-standing issues and improve living conditions for citizens if given the opportunity to serve. The Minister of Mines and Energy, Martin Noki Tingba, has exploration companies operating in Liberia to strictly comply with the terms and conditions of their licenses or risk losing their operating permits. Speaking during an agreement with Thus, engagement with the mining stakeholders, Mr. Tingba stressed that companies operating under the supervision of the Ministry of Mines and Energy must remain within the scope of their approved licenses and avoid unauthorized activities. He cautioned that any exploration company found conducting mining operation without obtaining the required mining license would face strict penalties, including revocation of its operation permit. The minister reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to enforcing mining regulations, and it showed that companies operating in Liberia's mining sector comply with national mining laws and licensing requirements. During the engagement, the ministry also commended Global Logistics Mining Company for operating within the terms of its license. And Minister Tingba further praised the company for prioritizing the employment and professional development of Liberian geologists, describing the initiative as a positive contribution to local capacity building and workforce development in the mining sector. Former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Kurt Brown, says Liberia does not belong to any single political party and should not be governed according to the dictates of partisan interest. Speaking during a special worship service marking Mother's Day at the Water in the Desert Assembly in Brewerville, Bishop Brown cautioned against political divisions and warned that the country risks is falling into insecurity and instability if Liberians allow politicians or politics to deepen national tensions. He said Liberians should remain thankful to God while working to preserve peace and national unity amid growing political differences. The leader is someone on the theme achieving the desires of our hearts. Bishop Brown described mothers as pillars of a society whose desire for peace and stability remains vital to the country's future. He urged the Liberians to uphold the vision and aspirations of the nation's founding fathers and prioritize peace over political division. Domestic violence continues to devastate families across Liberia, leaving many children traumatized and in some cases orphaned when the crime results in the death or imprisonment of one or both parents. According to gender correspondent Jocelyn Weir of New Narratives, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection does not currently have data on the number of children left behind when domestic violence leads to death or incarceration. Liberia recorded 3,381 cases of sexual and gender-based violence in 2024. This represents a 20% increase compared to the previous year. However, no government agency is tracking how many children are left without parental care as a result of these cases. The Ministry of Gender says Liberia currently has 12 safe homes across the country. These include 3 in Mossorado County and 1 in each as Grand Cape Mount, Maryland, Grand Crew, Grand Basso, Nimba County, Lofa, Grand Jide, and Margibi counties. However, officials say several of these facilities are not operational, including those in Grand Jide, Grand Basso, Margibi, Grand Crew, and Maryland. One safe home in Mossorado County was also destroyed by fire last year. A 12-year-old girl who was allegedly sexually assaulted in Grand Cape Mount County has been relocated to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection's safe home in Robertsport to receive specialized care and protection. The survivor and her mother, Sata Kane, were transferred to the facility on Sunday, May 30, 2026. Officials confirmed the safe home will provide the child with essential medical care, psychological counseling, and social support as legal proceedings against the suspect moved afoul. The case came to light after the victim reported the assault to her mother, who promptly filed a complaint with the Lofa Magistrate Police. The accident allegedly occurred during the second week of May 2026. Local police confirmed that a suspect identified as 48-year-old Amos Vincent was arrested shortly after the report was filed. He is currently being held at the Lofa Police Depot. Authorities stated that investigations are actively ongoing to finalize the case files for court and to determine his former detention status. A longer with the infrastructure project that is expected to ease long-standing transportation challenges for residents of Kupo Farm and Kola Tree communities in District 6, Mossorado County, following the groundbreaking of a bridge project by the Hama Initiative on Saturday, May 30, 2026. According to residents of both communities, the bridge project, which is estimated at $45,000 is expected to address the challenges they have faced over the years and improve daily movement. Speaking at the ceremony, Chief Executive Officer of the Hama Initiative, Joseph Hama, described the project as a community-driven intervention aimed at improving living conditions. He encouraged residents to take ownership of the project by supporting the construction process and ensuring its success. Grand Basso County Senatorial hopeful Gabriel Montgomery has dismissed reports circulating in the county suggesting that he intends to contest for the position of district representative, described the claims as false and misleading. Speaking over the weekend and to the media, Montgomery said the information being circulated was the result of rumors and political and misinformation by individuals he accused of attempting to create confusion. He clarified that he has no intention of contesting for the position of district representative, stressing that the claims are completely untrue. Montgomery emphasized that if he ever decides to pursue any political office, he will inform the people of Grand Basso County, adding that no one will be authorized to speak on his behalf or speculate about his political ambition. And away from Liberia, Japan's defense minister Shinjiro Kuzumi has rejected China's accusation that Japan is engaged in a new militarism, instead criticizing Beijing's own military expansion and lack of transparency. Speaking at Shangri-La Dialogue Security Summit in Singapore, Kozumi said it is actually China's growing military capabilities and huge arsenal of weapons that should be of a serious concern to the international community. His remarks were among the strongest the year from Tokyo in response to repeated criticism from Beijing over Japan's expanding defense policy on the Prime Minister Sunday Takachi. Blaze News.
Many thanks to Stephen Taludet for the news bulletin. It's a regular featured on News Point. If you're just joining us, you're listening to 45 minutes of news here coming from the News and Current Affairs Department at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Stories will follow into this presentation of the program. Political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Tawa Gonglo, calls for national review of Liberia's controversial 2% electoral threshold, says the provision threatens democratic inclusion and constitutional freedoms. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Samuel Stikwa emphasizes the need for Liberia to balance its long-standing tradition of welcoming migrants as concerns mounts over the influx of Burkinabes into the country. Alternative National Congress political leader Edzana Cummings highlights increased job creation and youth empowerment as key priorities it will pursue if elected president of Liberia. Japan's defense minister Shachiro Kwamini rejects China's accusation that Japan is engaging in new terrorism, criticizes Beijing's own military expansion and lack of transparency. Still ahead, voices of our newsmakers post or package onto this presentation of the program. We'll go strictly and bring in our first story. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Samuel Stikwa has emphasized the need for Liberia to balance its long-standing tradition of welcoming migrants with growing concern over national security and governance. He made a statement over the weekend during a turning over of two vehicles, four motorbikes, and computer equipment to the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. The minister noted that Liberia has historically remained a safe haven for displaced pressing migrants, but stressed that emerging challenges now require stronger coordination and oversight to protect national interests.
A very challenging space in our country. Yesterday at the cabinet meeting, the president spoke about the influx of the Burkinabes. While we were hearing this and that, it was the LRRC that brought to our attention the degradation that's taking place in our forests and the impact that the Burkinabes are having on our country and in our various counties where they are present. So although Liberia has always been a haven that welcomed migration and people who are displaced and people who are struggling, because we've been there ourselves. From the colonial era, Liberia has always stood by the African brothers and sisters from around the continent. But we've reached a point where some of them are setting up roadblocks, and as the president said, they are interrupting the free flow of government activities, and there are some of them, many of them are undocumented and are here. The president is going to be counting on you, the LRRC, to help us. And so today, on behalf of His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, I'm really pleased and happy to present to all of you, through your executive director, the following item. 120-seater poster bus to transport the employees up and down, one double cabin pickup to run to work, 2 motorbikes, 165-inch television, 6 working stations with chairs. And when you come to work, so the bus brings you to work. You have the motorbike, you go out and you do your inspection. You have a workstation to sit at, right? It is not done. You must do your work. And you must file the report to your directors, to your head, and from there, they too will file their reports to the president. And
Joseph Boakat for what he described as timely and meaningful support to the Commission. Councillor Bangalore said the donation demonstrates government's commitment to strengthening the LRRC operational capacity in line with its expanded mandate and on an executive order 159.
Management and staff of LRRC, Excellency Joseph Yuma Walker, for this timely and meaningful support to the Commission through the turnover of a 20-seater bus, a pickup vehicle, 4 motorbikes, computers, laptops, and cubicles. We are equally grateful to the Honorable Minister of State for Presidential Affairs for officially conveying this gesture on behalf of the President. Expanded responsibilities under Executive Order number 159. They will significantly enhance our operational capacity to respond to issues affecting refugees, returnees, internally displaced persons, deportees, and migrants across Liberia. The vehicles and motorbikes will improve field monitoring, our almost dysfunctional data center and improve data collection, management, analysis, and protection systems necessary to guarantee refugee and migrant protection as well as the pursuit of durable solutions. Honorable Minister, today's intervention demonstrates the government's commitment to humanitarian governance, migration management, to the emerging migration realities. As beneficiaries of this support, we assure His Excellency and the Liberian people that these assets will be used responsibly, transparently, and exclusively for the fulfillment of the Commission's mandate.
That's Steve. For President Joseph Boakat for what he described as timely and meaningful support to the Commission, and followed by the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Samuel Stikwa, when he emphasized the need for Liberia to balance its long-standing tradition National Congress. Elisana Cummings has called for increased job creation, youth empowerment, and improved basic services as key priorities he would pursue if elected president of Liberia. Speaking over the weekend to residents of Point Four and Supermarket, employment, drugs abuse among young people, and limited economic opportunities. He stressed that no job creation remains one of Liberia's most pressing issues, noting that all Liberians need access to sustainable employment opportunities, especially the young people.
We understand the challenge. Job, right? Job is one of the biggest challenges facing our country. We also know with our young people, the drug issue is a problem as well, as something we have to address. We know for many of our wives, sisters, mothers, we need to provide loans for our market women to do business, right? That is another so that we can minimize the water flow into our homes and to our communities. So these are all challenges that are faced by this community, but it's faced by many others across our country. And this is why we want the chance, we want the opportunity to serve Liberia so we can fix these things. Because I know that given a chance, we can fix Liberia. We can things we need to and we must address as a country and as a people. We understand the
That's the voice of the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Elisana Cummings, that calling for increased job creation, youth empowerment, and improved basic services as key priorities. It has one exploitation companies operating in Liberia to strictly comply with the terms and conditions of their licenses or rigs losing their operating permits. Speaking during an engagement with mining stakeholders, Minister Tingman stressed that companies operating under the supervision of caution that any exploitation company found conducting mining operations without sustaining or obtaining the required mining license will face strict penalties, including revocation of its operating permit.
They can, because if we make decision based on assumption, not making decision based on data. Because when the data is there, you have to interpret the data and then you take a decision point from there. You see, we were at this going for the primary, we're not talking about secondary. Secondary deposit is in alluvial sector, most especially in the gold industry. Primary deposit is going in high rock mine. The what gives one thing is that's a high rock mine. We were in Bakum the other day, and those companies that are coming into this coming for you. If you are not conducting the exploration for which you took the exploration lesson for, and you go for the alluvial and preventing other people who got the potential to make, to go into real exploration and make discovery that Liberia will benefit from it, will come after you. Because having a lesson people that will help us and that we help ourselves to develop our country. But I would still need more employment, there because we need to provide job opportunity for our citizens. But if the resources of this country are utilized properly, we will generate the need to make sure more jobs are created for our citizens. And then we get ourselves in a better position. There can be a lot of speculation out there. And making this trade will be.
That's the voice of Minister of Mines and Energy, Minister Mat- their operating permits. Former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Cotto Brown, that's Bishop Cotto Brown, says Liberia does not belong to any single political party and should not be governed according to the that according to the conducted in the Desert Assembly in Brussels, Bishop Brown cautioned against political divisions and warning that the country risks sliding into insecurity and insecurity and if Liberia allow politics to deepen whose desire peace and stability remains vital to the country's future.
I don't care, what party you belong to. I don't care what the persuasion is, my friend. If the king refuses to listen to the man of God, the king is in trouble. The country is in trouble. Make peace. Many of and they went behind you with stones and rocks. If we're not careful, we're not far from that place. This country is not owned by Unity Party and CDC. It's owned by all Nigerians. And they have no right to make it unlivable for us. All because they don't want to listen. Everyone has a desire. Your desire in life is your driver. Think of your father. You living now in generations where anything that your father owned held in high esteem does he appeal to you. So generation of Liberians you are dealing with now who can't honor their father's legacy. They can't honor their man's legacy. As far as you are concerned, you're still alive. Our parents desire. Your mom cried and cried to do something, and she was not able to do it. And she died and left it. And you too, you have left it. Many people pray ahead of because first they abandon their parent desire to, they themselves don't even have a desire. Now today you live in a strange world. You got people trying to make you to not to believe mixed priorities. People confusing you. That if you know book, you're different. But the reason why you learn book is to give you greater enlightenment in serving God. Greater enlightenment in managing what God has given us. Young people, been led astray. You're not able to give your best to God because somebody
That's the voice of the former president of the Liberia Council of Churches, Bishop Cotto Brand. They're saying Liberia does not belong to any single political party and should not be governed according to the dictates of partisan interests. At this time, we join Stephen Tallow. He comes in with the passion of last post.
As a C requester is released due to club duties and LFA approved it. That means Liberia's attack will be without a Flomo for both matches. A good chance for another local or foreign based player to prove him as champions. This isn't just a trophy, it proves the hard work, gift, and team spirit. And the name of their chair is the Jessica Kwashi Hall and her team. And lastly, from latest transfer news in Europe now, Aston Villa winger Morgan Rogers is a target for Arsenal. PSG, Real Madrid's interest in Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice increases Liverpool goalkeeper as he bids to build on their Premier League title success, although Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain are also interested, according to the Mirror. And that's the sports.
Many thanks to Stephen Taludette for the Passion of Life Sports. We go for more stories. Safe in Rabasport to receive special care and protection. They survived and her mother Sata Kanen were transferred to the facility on Saturday, May 30, 2026. Officials confirmed the safe home will provide the child with essential medical care. Tata Kanen has been explaining more to our Grand Cape County correspondent Mark Rogers. We're so sorry that we outstanding transportation challenges for residents of Copper Farm and Cola Tree community in District 6, Mosurado County, following the groundbreaking of a bridge project by the Hammer Initiative on Saturday, May 30, 2026. The bridge project is estimated at $45,000
Residents of Copper Farm and Cola Tree communities are expected to benefit from a long-awaited bridge project following the groundbreaking ceremony conducted by the Hammond Initiative on Saturday, May 30, 2026. The For years, community members have called for the construction of a bridge to ease movement between the two communities and improve access to schools, markets, health facilities, and other essential services. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony held at the project site, Chief Executive Officer needs of ordinary citizens. According to him, bridge projects form part of the organization's broader effort to improve living conditions and promote sustainable development.
Because we try to see it clean. We'll build a pathway and we'll see if we clean all the drainages. We'll make the road beautiful and better. Not only the bridge, but let it be beautiful and better. And if you guys do well, we'll come out with
affected communities. They also expressed dissatisfaction with both past and current lawmakers for what they describe as neglect of the district.
It's been a very much unique one. I just want to be so appreciative to the Hammond Foundation. This is a good initiative on the assessment.
Very, very happy. Because all the government, the past government.
Meanwhile, the project manager, Josiah Elliott, disclosed that the bridge project is estimated to cost approximately $45,000 US. He added that construction is
one more time.
Construction work is expected to commence immediately, with residents expressing hope that the project will be completed within the scheduled time frame. Once completed, the bridge is expected to enhance connectivity, boost local trade, and improve access to essential services residents.
Many thanks to Blaze FM reporter Arena Kopogi there with that report. Finally, from the news stem this morning, Grand Bassa County Senatorial hopeful Gabriel Montgomery has dismissed reports circulating in the county suggesting that he intends to contest for the position of circulated was the result of rumors and political information that misinformation by individuals he accused of attempting to create confusion. He clarified that he has no intention of contesting for the position of district representative, stressing that the claims
information that I, Gabriel Y. Montgomery Sr., intend to contest for the position of district representative. Today, I want to address this matter directly and put this rumor to rest once and for all. The information being circulated is false, misleading, and completely untrue. I have absolutely no intention of becoming fire for the office of district representative. I will personally inform the people of Grand Bassa County. No one will have to speculate, assume, or speak on my behalf unless otherwise authorized. The Bassa people will hear from me directly. For now, however, I have no such intention. To put in political operatives who have been assigned the task to spread these rumors, I say, carry this message back to your masters. The day of accountability is drawing near. They should not fear me, but they should understand that the people are watching, listening, and judging for themselves. I encourage you not to be distracted by empty talk and needless noise. Stay focused on what truly matters. Keep your eyes on the ball, because that is the only way victory can be achieved. Do not allow those who thrive on confusion to divert your attention from the bigger picture. It has come to my attention
is suggesting that he intends to contest for the position of district representative, describing the claims as false and misleading. With that, we come to the end of today's edition of Newspoint. It has been a production of the News and Current Affairs Department at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Before Nigeria's controversial 2% electoral threshold says the provision threatens democratic inclusion and constitutional freedoms. Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Samuel Dikwa emphasizes the need for Liberia to balance its long-standing tradition political leader Adesanya Cummings highlights increased job creation and youth empowerment as key priorities he will pursue if elected president of Liberia. And away from home, Japan's defense minister Yasuo Kwame rejects China's accusation that Japan is engaging in new militarization criticism. News bulletin and the passion of life sports. Clifton Redding, DJ Majority is out of control and handle the technical aspect of the program. From behind the entire production team, here at the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated, Oliver McIntosh presented. Good morning, bye bye.